She only answered a phone call, but that single moment changed her mother's life forever. She never expected the millionaire to turn around, stare in disbelief, and say the words that would rewrite their destiny. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to USA Drama 2.0 for more emotional, life-changing stories. The night lights of the city glowed like scattered diamonds across the horizon, reflected against the glass walls of the luxurious penthouse suite. Andrea stood quietly near the window, her posture straight, her breath steady. Though only 18, she carried a calm presence that made people think she was older. Her mother, Marissa, worked in the penthouse as part of the housekeeping staff, organized, respectful, reliable. And Andrea, despite her brilliance, never took opportunities for granted. Scholarships, competitions, late-night studying, every achievement she ever earned came through discipline, not shortcuts. Tonight, however, was different. Tonight, she wasn't supposed to be here. She had simply come to help her mother carry some supplies. But fate had its own plan. At the center of the room stood Mr. Harrison Vermeer, a well-known millionaire investor known for his calm demeanor and sharp mind. He was in the middle of preparing for a critical international call, something that could influence his global business partnerships. Marissa and Andrea entered quietly. Marissa set down fresh towels while Andrea lingered near a small desk, watching the city lights. Harrison glanced at them briefly with polite acknowledgement, then turned back to the documents on his tablet. The room was silent except for the faint hum of the city below, until suddenly, his phone began ringing. A Dutch number flashed across the screen. Harrison stepped away for a moment to retrieve some files from his briefcase. And the phone kept ringing. 5 seconds, 8 seconds, 10 seconds. Marissa looked panicked. "Don't touch anything, Andrea," she whispered nervously. But then, Harrison's voice came through from across the room. "Could someone answer that? I'll take it in just a moment." Marissa froze. Andrea's instincts kicked in. She stepped forward, picked up the phone gently, and answered. "Goedenavond, hoe kan ik you helpen?" she said fluently. Marissa's jaw dropped. The Dutch voice on the other side paused. "Pardon, spreekt u Nederlands?" Andrea smiled softly. "Yes, sir. Mr. Vermeer will join the call shortly. May I confirm the updated project timeline you mentioned in your last email?" The man responded immediately, impressed. "Ah, excellent. Yes, of course." Harrison, hearing the Dutch words, turned around sharply. His eyes widened. Andrea wasn't just holding his phone. She was navigating a professional conversation in flawless Dutch. He watched silently as she clarified dates, corrected one scheduling detail, and even exchanged courteous farewells. When she handed the phone to him, he could only stare. "Where did you learn Dutch?" Harrison asked, stunned. Andrea felt shy. "There was an online course, and some digital libraries. It's a beautiful language. You speak it like someone who lived there." She shrugged nervously. "I just like learning." Her mother whispered urgently, "Andrea, apologize." But Harrison lifted a hand gently. "No need. You may have just saved a critical international deal." Marissa stood frozen in confusion. Andrea stood frozen in fear. And Harrison stood frozen in amazement. After the call ended successfully, Harrison invited them both to sit for a moment. Marissa hesitated. "Sir, we must finish our tasks." "Please, Marissa," he said kindly. "I insist." Andrea sat carefully, trying to remain composed. "Do you always help your mother with work?" Harrison asked. "No, sir," Andrea replied politely. "Just today. I'm usually studying." "What are you studying?" "Linguistics and software design. And, well, a bit of everything." "Everything?" Andrea lowered her eyes, embarrassed. "I like learning languages, and systems, and patterns. They all connect somehow." Harrison nodded slowly, fascinated. "How many languages do you speak?" Andrea paused. "Fluently, 4, but I can understand parts of 7 more." Marissa looked down, hiding a mixture of pride and worry. She had always admired her daughter's brilliance, but opportunities were hard to reach when you didn't grow up with connections or resources. Harrison placed his tablet on the table thoughtfully. "Does your school know about your abilities? Language programs, scholarships?" Andrea hesitated. I didn't get accepted into many programs. The application fees were too high, and some required travel." Marissa's voice cracked. "I did my best, sir. But opportunities for someone like..." Andrea gently squeezed her mother's hand. "It's okay, Mom." Harrison spoke slowly. "You said you were studying software design as well." Andrea perked up. "Oh yes, I build small language learning systems. I want to design AI tools that help underprivileged students learn languages for free. Harrison blinked in surprise. You want to build educational technology? Yes, so no one has to give up learning just because they can't afford it. For a moment, silence filled the room, soft, warm, meaningful. Harrison leaned back. You're remarkable. Andrea blushed, but then he added something that made both mother and daughter look up in disbelief. I want to sponsor your entire education. Marissa immediately shook her head. Sir, we can't accept anything like that. It's too much. Harrison shook his head gently. It's not charity, Marissa. It's investment in brilliance. Andrea's chest tightened. I don't want to be a burden. You're not, Harrison replied. I've been searching for young innovators with your kind of talent. I run a foundation to support rising thinkers. You belong there. Marissa's eyes filled with tears. She had worked her entire life believing she would never be able to give Andrea the opportunities she deserved. Now, those opportunities were being handed to her, unexpectedly, unbelievably. But fear still tugged at her heart. What if people talk? She whispered. What if they say I used my work to gain favors? Harrison stood. Marissa, you've been loyal and hardworking for years. Your integrity is never in question. And Andrea earned this through her talent. Nothing more, nothing less. Andrea looked at her mother with soft pleading eyes. Mom, please. Marissa's voice cracked. You deserve better than I ever could give. Andrea hugged her tightly. You gave me everything. Harrison waited respectfully until they separated. Let me show you something, he said. He projected Andrea's call recording. Her calm tone, her perfect pronunciation. Her confidence was professional level. Andrea, he said, I've paid professional translators who aren't this precise. Andrea laughed nervously. I just really love languages. Then let me help you build the future you dream of. Harrison prepared an official letter from his foundation. A full scholarship, a mentorship program, a paid internship opportunity, travel for international workshops, all educational materials covered. Andrea stared at the document like it was something unreal. My name, on a scholarship like this, she whispered. Marissa couldn't hold her tears anymore. Andrea, your future. Harrison smiled warmly. You will study languages, technology, cognitive science, anything you've ever wanted. And when you're ready, we'll help you launch your own program for students. Andrea felt her throat close. I don't know what to say. Harrison replied gently. Say yes. Weeks later, Andrea stepped onto a university campus she once only dreamed about. Students from different cultures filled the courtyard. Professors greeted her warmly. Her schedule was packed with classes, research labs, and language immersion programs. She thrived. Her Dutch professor was stunned by her fluency. Her software design mentor praised her logic. Her cognitive science instructor said she had a mind built for decoding human communication. Andrea began building a prototype language learning platform, a multi-language tool designed for low-income students. Harrison funded her resources, connected her with industry mentors, and supported every step. Marissa visited the campus one afternoon. Seeing Andrea present her work, surrounded by enthusiastic professors and peers, she cried quietly. You did this, Andrea whispered, hugging her. You never gave up on me. No, Marissa replied, you achieved this because you never gave up on yourself. Months later, during a major international conference, Andrea presented her AI language learning prototype. The audience applauded, investors expressed interest, foundations offered partnerships. Harrison stood at the side of the stage, proud. After the event, Andrea asked him something softly. Sir, that phone call I answered months ago, what was it about? Harrison chuckled. A partnership deal. Very important. Andrea tilted her head. Did it go through because of me? Harrison nodded. Yes. Your confidence and clarity impressed the caller. That call changed everything, for both of us. Andrea smiled brightly. Then I'm glad I picked it up. Harrison smiled back. And Andrea, there's one more thing. She looked at him curiously. He extended a new document. A full grant to officially launch her educational platform. Andrea gasped. Sir, this is your future, your vision, your impact on thousands of students who will learn because of you. Andrea hugged the folder to her chest, overwhelmed. Thank you, truly, you earned it, Harrison replied. And I have one more request. Andrea leaned in. Don't ever stop learning. Andrea nodded firmly. I won't. Learning is my superpower. 2 years later, Andrea's platform launched globally with overwhelming success. Students from underserved communities accessed her free language tools. Teachers praised the system. Media outlets featured her story, not as a maid's daughter who caught a lucky break, but as a genius young innovator changing the world. And Marissa, she stood at the front row of every award ceremony, hands clasped, eyes shining with pride. Andrea never forgot the moment it all began. A simple phone call, a simple choice to answer, a simple spark that ignited a life-changing journey. And every time she saw a student mastering a new language on her platform, she whispered the same words. "This is from my mom." If this story inspired you, make sure you subscribe to USA Drama 2.0 for more emotional, life-changing stories that will touch your heart and brighten your day.